The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing? Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning. I'm Paige Clarke. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms, I'm Nico and Haan.
It's 82 degrees, balmy and hot here in Florida.
It's beautiful. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's kind of sweaty and humid, but it's typical August around here. And so please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. News you can use, 20-some more pages every time the newsletter comes out with news that's got clickable links, good stuff. And
I want to remind people that we still have our Get Your Bottle Today, $25 off of the Primal Edge. It's a great promotion. It's a good way to get your nutrients in the morning. Over 310 organic, cell-ready ingredients, all powered by fulvic and humic acid. So pick that up. It lasts till the end of the month. So
and you can use your Tiger dollars if you're part of the Tiger TFNN.com network.
Yeah.
And we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648.
That's right. What are we talking about today?
Well, we talked a little bit last week about fasting, and, we've been talking about different dietary. I've got a bunch of articles that we've saved in our Instapaper, and I want to kind of work through some of these.
Okay.
But this one is about dry fasting.
Okay.
And I think that the health benefits of dry fasting are not really known. I don't think a lot of people know that there is a difference. So we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Well, basically, what it sounds like to me is that instead of drinking teas and things like that, you just don't have anything at all.
You don't. You don't. Very much like what an animal might do.
That's what I was thinking right away.
Very
right away,
primal,
when the cat
right,
goes
Nico?
into the corner and it kind of slugs away and it's not going to be accepting anything. And that's pretty much what dry fasting is.
That's right. And I want to make a disclaimer here. This is intended as a discussion and an exploration of a healing technique called dry fasting. It's not intended to be taken as medical advice. You should always work with a qualified health practitioner to do that kind of a thing.
Yeah, we encourage everybody to do their own kind of study and convince yourself and talk to somebody that knows a little bit more than you do, perhaps. Somebody who's done this type of thing, it's always a good thing to do, I think. People who have done some dry fasting, you can get a little bit of knowledge from that. And today, we're very, very lucky because we have the Internet. And then the Internet, you go to YouTube, and you can find all kinds of things about just about everything, good and bad.
It is. So, it's kind of like the universal consciousness.
Yeah, so it's
at
the
least
thing,
here.
Yeah,
this
and
level.
It's the last kind of frontier that we have that so far isn't interfered with too much. They're starting to interfere with it. It bothers me a little bit that they even take down some of these, even though the KKK is up there and they're putting, people are taking things down. I don't think they should, because what these groups are going to do sooner or later is find another avenue that we don't know about. I'd rather have them out there spewing their garbage so I can see it and to reject it. And that's just my personal view. I don't think there should be any censorship on the web. I think
it is already. There's already a lot of censorship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sad thing. And if you post a picture of a baboon's butt, you'll get 150 likes. But if you post an article about something controversial that doesn't really fit in with the status quo, it'll be as if nobody saw it.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
I think Facebook and things like that, if they want to censor their stuff, I think that's fine with me. That's not the Internet as far as I'm concerned. That's just the social media. To me, that's completely different. I think the Internet should not be that way.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think particular companies, they want to censor their own stuff. That's up to them. Then they're revealing who they are.
I watched a video about how Google was embedding things, when you're looking for something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Google is about.
Okay, so let's get back to fasting anyways. Many times we've talked about the fact that there's physical benefits to fasting, and we also know there's a spiritual benefits behind fasting.
Yeah.
But this type of fasting that we would like to talk about today is called dry fasting. And dry fasting is one of, if not the most extreme level of fasting that you can do. You kind of highlighted that. Trust me when we say that it's not for the faint of heart and should not be attempted unless you have already experienced at least 1 or 2 days of a water fast. I mean, there are a lot of people that fast on juices. I don't know if that's truly fasting, or they fast on bone broth.
Yeah.
And then a little more stringent is the pure water fast.
Right.
And then this one, of course, as you said, is abstaining.
Yeah, I think you should start with something light, and then if that agrees with you, then maybe you can explore it a little bit farther. But definitely to go off the high dive board when you haven't gone off the small board is probably not a good idea.
Yeah. So let's go over kind of what makes a dry fast so extreme in the first place.
Well, the normal fasting entails the consumption of water. Dry fasting is the practice from abstaining from both water and food. And people might say, are you crazy about this? Well, yeah, the average person might think that. But there's actually been a lot of research done on this topic, and the medical benefits of dry fasting are quite numbered.
And it actually says that 1 day of dry fasting is equivalent to 3 days of a water fast.
Yeah. That's pretty remarkable.
That
I can
really
see
is.
why that would work, because all of a sudden your body goes kind of into a shock and saying, okay, we better do something.
We got to clean up here.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the studies, we mentioned that if you think about it, animals actually demonstrate this inherently, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
the dog.
when somebody, just an injury alone, it might not be something that maybe they picked up the flu or something like that, but if a dog or a cat is injured, they'll say they injured their leg, they just go into the corner.
Yeah, they'll stop eating to facilitate healing. And folks, I'll tell you why, connect the dots on this. It's enzymes. Enzymes are what do work in the body. So if you're shoving food down your mouth constantly, then the enzymes have to say, oh, here comes some food, guys. Stop repairing that heart. Stop repairing that liver. We got to go over here and digest this food and figure out who's a good guy and who's a bad guy.
Well, I feel it in myself. When I had this congestion for the last couple of weeks. It's finally gone away. It's a little bit around still, but I noticed that when, I had that one day that was really bad, and I didn't want to get out of bed or anything like that. And I want my brain to shut down at that point. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. So you're doing instinctive healing. Yeah, it's kind of instinctive. It's a little bothersome to people around you, perhaps, because people who are concerned are going to say, oh, well, can I help you? Do you need anything? Please, just leave me alone. That's what I want. So I really have to watch myself not to be rude. But that's the way I feel. Don't talk to me. I want to just cowl in my corner. I'm fine when I do that because I know that's good for me.
Yeah,
that's me.
There you go. So, as we said, we can watch the animals. They go off, and many of them will stop drinking altogether. And a lot of people worry, oh, my dog hasn't eaten.
Right.
They're actually doing the right thing, perhaps, for healing.
So a great deal of research has been done. And the funny, again, it comes from a Russian doctor named Dr. Filanov, who has supervised thousands of dry fasts, which last sometimes up to 14 days. That's really something.
Yeah, his studies alone have also popped the thought bubble that a human cannot live more than 3 days without consuming water, as the longest dry fast on record is 18 days, not including the claims in the Bible, such as Moses' 40-day fast. And the truth is, the body is truly capable of producing its own water internally, but we're going to continue this subject.
Yes, I think so.
When we get back.
The number here is 877-927-6664. Take time to get your Primal Edge, $25 off the first bottle you get. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle. This morning we're talking about dry fasting. And in a nutshell, as your body enters into the state of ketosis, and that's really the beauty of this. This forces your body into ketosis, and which is the state of breaking down and burning stored fat.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah. The thing is that free hydrogen molecules are released, and these molecules then bind with oxygen molecules in the blood, and water is formed internally. Pretty cool.
And that is exactly what we need.
And it's probably structured water, I would think.
Exactly.
Yeah,
especially if you're sitting in the sun.
Yeah.
According to Jack Cruz, the sun. So Dr. Villeneuve estimates that every day the body is able to produce over a liter of metabolized water in this way, and this freshly synthesized water is actually much more pure than what we are likely consuming from the outside. I think they're referencing the structured water.
And also that there's not any toxin. Well, there's some toxins in your body, but it's probably...
well, the body filters it out.
Yeah, the body filters and separates that out. So, and this is, I've been doing the Wim Hof method of breathing exercises to help me get out of this kind of funk that I've been in. And, this is some of the things that he does. It's like running across the Sahara for 26 miles without water. So this is what his body is doing automatically because of his methods of breathing. So you'll find that if you're going into states like this, you need to be breathing and you need to get that circulation going. And the Wim Hof method of breathing is really what brings oxygen in to bind with that hydrogen in there, so you create more water for yourself internally.
So this is a very interesting thing, because I forgot to tell you. Last night, 7 o'clock, my phone rings. It's Austin, my son.
Yeah.
And he says, Mom, I'm in the hospital. I'm freaking out.
Jeez.
And he said, I was doing some roofing on one of Dad's buildings, and I got weak and got heat shock. And so I'm in the hospital. My friend took me to the hospital, and they're giving me IVs. So there you go. And I asked him, of course, after he got home, I was like, were you drinking water? He goes, Mom, I drank a whole gallon that day.
It's not. It's the UV. Remember, it's 11 right now.
Right. So exactly. So the UV was so high. Yeah. And on top of that, drinking more water without the electrolytes can be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's why it gets lightheaded, and especially on a roof and maybe on a slant.
And probably middle of the day.
Yeah.
So,
well,
anyways.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he is okay. Thank goodness.
So through this internal water, toxins are continued to be removed from the blood. So urination does continue, even if less frequency than average. One of the biggest benefits here is the old and dead water in your body is replaced with a high-quality living water, which your body itself synthesizes.
I think this is really, really fascinating, and I do want to caution you that this is not something to tread into lightly. You want to get some guidance on this, and for our newsletter subscribers, we'll make sure you get the link to a 300-page book by this Dr. Filanoff, who wrote this. There's a link provided, so I think we should put that in the newsletter.
No doubt about it.
300 pages of his research and studies of how this was all done.
Yeah.
So with that said, there's still a bit of dehydration that occurs in the body, especially the longer this is practiced. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, because when the decreased water content in your body, the pressure within the cells becomes greater than the pressure outside the cells. The result, the pressure causes the cell to leak their internal fluids into the external space between. And this, of course,
so this
carries
is intracellular, extracellular water.
Yeah, so this your toxins are being put out of the cells, then your blood can carry it away.
That's right.
Very cool.
So this is described as each cell becoming a furnace unto themselves. That's an interesting explanation.
Yeah.
Where each individual cell is manually releasing its toxins into the blood for removal much quicker than in a regular water fast.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
In particularly toxic people, this can cause an overload of toxin removal in the body. So shorter, dry fast first is highly recommended for those who wish to try one out. And again, probably need to experience a few wet fasts first, just to get used
Start
to it.
with a juice fast, and then maybe move to a water fast.
Yeah.
And
remember, if you're on a paleo diet, these fasts are going to be a lot easier for you because you're not going to have the cravings to begin with.
That's a really good point, Nico,
Yeah.
because when you're fat adapted and you have already adopted a healthy, low-carb diet lifestyle so that you're used to doing some periodic intermittent fasts, you're used to increasing the time interval of when you don't eat and condensing the interval when you do eat, it should be easier.
And not only that, Paige, is when you get hungry on a paleo-type diet, once you're fat adapted, you don't care that you're hungry. It's not a biggie. It's not a life and death situation anymore. That's the kind of relief that you have. That's the freedom that you have in this type of a diet.
There you go. So listen to what Dr. Filanoff, the Russian scientist that wrote this, did all the research on dry fasting. He says dehydration causes competition between healthy cells and pathological organisms for water. It is a real survival of the fittest scenario. Inflammation cannot survive without water. A wet environment is ideal for the proliferation of pathological bacteria, viruses, and worms. Water shortage is as devastating as fire for them. All dead or dying tissues will be expelled from the body. A water fast does the same thing, but takes much longer to accomplish the goal than the dry fast.
Yeah. So what is inflammation? Inflammation basically is the tissues are swollen with water where infection is having a party.
Yeah, like Dr. Tennant used to say, you have bugs and your bugs want to have lunch.
I like it. So pathological bacteria and microbes love wet terrain.
And they want to have lunch on you.
Yeah, that's true. Dry fasting eliminates inflammation in the same way. A swamp gets rid of mosquitoes and other insects when it dries up. Mm-hmm. Microbes are annihilated immediately. The shortage of water is a cleansing drought that is disastrous to the body's enemies, not to the body itself.
Good stuff.
Nice picture there of
the microbes.
The microbes. Where is that? Right there.
But this isn't really where the magic of this type of fasting ends. It's just only the beginning. And there's another Russian doctor of biology named Y. Romanoff that discovered that one of the most significant benefits of fasting was the creation and release of stem cells in the body, which increase even so more during a dry fast. And we're hearing a lot of things about stem cells today. And stem cells are what our body uses. They differentiate themselves throughout the body. They're undifferentiated, and then they become differentiated, and that's how we do a lot of body repair.
Right, and basically as the intense bodily cleanse is initiated, old, sick, and dry cells are released in massive quantities and eliminated through the urine.
Yeah.
And once this takes place, there's now more space in the cells to be born, so the stem cell production shifts from being dormant to a state of activity, production, and they're released in the body in a very high capacity.
Yeah, this was done in a study at the University of Southern California, and they said we could not predict that prolonged fasting would have such a remarkable effect in promoting stem cells-based regeneration in the body.
So here is Western science coming to Eastern science, kind of like the meditation thing that we talked about a few months back.
It always goes full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes full circle. So these practices that our ancient ancestors and some of these ancient cultures did were very wise. They did them for thousands of years because they worked.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So those who participate in a dry fast find themselves with a tremendous rush of energy upon the completion of the fast. So that makes it worthwhile just there, and they don't need as much sleep, and they function much more effectively, and it shows that the brain activity along with creative abilities see a massive surge. And
yeah, so when we come back, we want to talk about the two types of dry fasts that there are. So
absolutely.
Stick around, folks. Time to pick up some Primal Edge. During the break, remember that we do have our great promotion. You just click here on the Primal Edge button here, and $25 off right now.
And go get it.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back. Nico and I are talking about dry fasting. And did you know there's two types? There's a hard dry fast and there's a soft dry fast. A soft dry fast is where an individual fasts but allows themselves to physically touch water, such as showering, washing your hands, or brushing your teeth, A hard dry fast, on the other hand, is much more extreme, where one abstains from even coming into contact with water. This is particularly relevant because in this state of dry fasting, the pores of your skin become much more susceptible to absorbing water through the skin, and so the best method for dry fasting is a hard dry fast.
Yeah, the doctor recommends that the best place to do a dry fast is somewhere in nature where the air is fresh, moist, and pure. He even encourages his patients to sleep outside next to a stream or a river so to allow the lightest amount of clean and fresh moisture to enter the body without going to a stream. So get out of the house, maybe put up a tent, or maybe just go outside and yeah, that's kind of a cool idea anyway.
I think it's really a great idea.
Not in the summer here, but...
Well, and like he said, even just one full day is equivalent to 3 days of a water fast.
Yeah.
Maybe truly...
A lot easier to try for some people, perhaps.
Yeah. I think what I'm learning from this is we've all been very afraid to go without that water, but there is a mechanism.
Well, yeah, because everybody in our modern society, we've got a bottle, even if we have to go 2 blocks. You know, everybody's drinking so much water. Sometimes you think that we're overdoing it a little bit too much, especially in the plastic bottles, I guess.
Yeah, so let's talk about how long to do this. As far as length goes, most of these researchers do not recommend going beyond 14 days, which is considered extremely long. Dr. Filanoff himself insists that an individual start with several water-only fasts at first, and then they can begin practicing dry fasting upwards of 36 hours, a day and a half per week. After that, a person can gradually increase the number to 2, 3, and 4 days. So this is not something you rocket ship into, folks. And I think getting that 300-page book will be a nice gem for our subscribers.
And I wonder what he means when he says, okay, 36 hours per week. Does that mean he's suggesting that you go every single week for the
That might be a nice idea. Actually, you know, I think that's what he's saying. It's like a cleansing, you know, so maybe you eat dinner
on Sunday night.
Sunday night, and then you don't eat again until Monday.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah.
No, or
well,
so maybe you have dinner on Sunday night. I mean, Saturday night. You go to bed, and then all day Sunday, you relax.
You have dinner on
and rest. Maybe that's what was meant by a day of rest, a true day of rest.
Interesting. I have to dig deep into the Bible to find
out.
it.
You know, one of the things that they have found is that to achieve very permanent healing results, a person must go through 2 different stages of what Dr. Filanoff calls the acidotic crisis.
Is this like the acidosis type of thing?
Well, it sounds like you're going to go through a period of being very acidic. Let's see, because his book is only available in Russian and has been translated by computer for English readers, it may be safe to presume that acidotic would translate as the state of ketosis we described above, the state when the body shifts from using external materials for fuel to internal materials and releasing old dead tissue. So he's just referring to the state of ketosis.
Yeah, so I think what he's saying that if you're not in the state of ketosis on a normal basis, then you're really going to notice the change because there's a lot of things that happen to your body. You get not feeling quite well. You have this kind of flu, kind of acidotic flu that you get into. So I highly recommend change your diet first, get on that for a while so you're into that state of ketosis, and then this becomes a lot easier to deal with, and I think you'll be able to see the results of this a lot better than all of a sudden, no, I'm half diabetic and now I'm going to do this. It doesn't make sense to take that drastic point.
Listen to what this doctor says. Dr. Filanoff wrote that these 2 states first occur generally between 3 to 5 days and again between 9 and 11 days of dry fasting, and they are extreme states of cleansing disease from in the body. The first wave resolves the stem disease or the surface cause of a problem.
Okay, such as a tumor.
Yeah. And the second eliminates the root
of the
disease, the totality of the problem, such as the cause of the tumor to begin with.
Okay.
This sounds like
so with this in mind, once you have been practicing this for doing longer dry fasts, they are able to traverse these 2 acidotic states between 2 separate dry fasts, usually with several days of rehydration in between them. So what he's saying basically that the first time you do this, it's going to just do that first part of it, not the second part where you get rid of all the bad stuff that you want to. so it doesn't do it all at once.
Yeah, and this article details a couple different protocols and strategies he has, but one thing we would want to discuss is when you're ending a fast, which applies both to a dry fast and even a regular fast, you know, water or juice fast or whatever, you should be especially mindful of after a dry fast. The recovery period to rebuild one's strength is usually close to twice the length of the dry fast itself.
Well, that's something really to consider then before you start something like this. If you know that you're going to be in a little worse shape after that fast. So
yeah, so if you do a 7-day dry fast, you might consider a 2-week period for recovery. This simply means don't do any heavy lifting, drink lots of liquids and fresh juices, and eat as much raw food as you can in this time so your body can get back into the state of eating. So
well, this makes sense because raw food is the cleanest food you can eat.
Well, it comes packed with the enzymes.
Right.
It comes delivered with the enzymes, which do the work, to digest it. So the body doesn't have to take some of your own enzyme stores, which are really designed to cleanse the body.
Right.
They come with what they need to be digested.
Yeah, and we know that if it's raw and you can eat it, it's healthy for you. We know that for a fact.
We do, but I'm going to also, you know, kind of digress a little bit. You know, in a lot of Hindu and Chinese medicine, there are times when digestion is poor, even raw, even though they come with the enzymes and they've got a lot of enzymes and vitamin and so forth, there can be a time when lightly steamed or sautéed vegetables are actually a better source.
I'm not saying that it's just the fact that if you can eat it raw, it's going to be good for you. If you can't eat it raw, it's probably not too good for you. And lots of things have to be done because there's so many things in there stopping it from being good. So, you know, I cook my vegetables nearly 99% of the time. I certainly cook my meat most of the time, too. But those things I know I can eat raw, too, and it won't do me a lot of damage. My body just has to work a little harder to do that.
Right.
And this is why our brain is so large, because we discovered that eating food that has been cooked takes a lot less energy. We can conserve that energy to do
the cellulose is broken down and a lot of the fibers.
Right.
Yeah. So we're not suggesting that the dry fast is a miracle cure, although there have been many claims throughout history. And that said, Dr. Filanoff's book, he describes many illnesses that have healed through dry fasting, and this is including, but not limited to, I mean, A to Z stuff, guys. I mean, we could go on.
Ovarian cysts, fibroids.
Endometriosis, infertility, mastitis.
Hot flashes, yeast, parasites.
Atherosclerosis, herniated discs, gangrene.
My goodness.
Eczema, pancreatitis. I almost can't see anything that isn't listed. But, you know, for those of you that would like to read a copy of Dr. Filanoff's book, we're going to put the link, put this in the next newsletter. It's 327 pages. It's really quite a remarkable read. And the principal sources of the information for the article are included. And we'll put the whole article in there. So stick with us. Next, we've got something good to talk to you. We'll talk to you a little bit about how you can use pomegranate to help cure metabolic syndrome. Stay with us.
Number here is 877-927-6648. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
So we've been talking about doing fast, which is, of course, abstaining from food. And here we have a food that is really good for us. So there's time to switch it over.
I agree with you, Nico.
Okay.
Pomegranate, pomegranate is an antioxidant powerhouse, and it is a food as medicine approach to metabolic syndrome. And I wanted to talk about the pomegranate. When we come into the fall, they'll be coming into season, so to speak, anyways.
Well, I like the way you always connect different fruits to your body parts.
Yeah, this doctrine of signatures.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pomegranate, I think if you look at it, and we've got a picture of it in the telestrator there, I think you can see that it has a semblance to the heart, but it also has a semblance to the female ovary.
Yeah, that's what it really reminds me of.
And, with all those tiny little eggs and so forth, but it's actually been called the second ovary.
Really?
And can help women through menopausal, but also protect our vascular system, postmenopausal. So let's go on a little bit.
Okay.
What I liked, this article is talking about the benefits of pomegranate and with respect to metabolic syndrome. And I want to remind you that cardiovascular disease is one leg of this multi-leg stool of metabolic syndrome, which is the true epidemic in this country. And although the cardiovascular disease represents the leading cause of morbidity and mortality worldwide, metabolic syndrome, on the other hand, is the 900-pound gorilla in the room. It's the aggregate of risk factors. It includes atherogenic dyslipidemia, hypertension, visceral adiposity, and elevated plasma glucose. These are all predict the development of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So anything that we can do to reverse the process of metabolic syndrome is going to be beneficial to our health, And
so there's lots of things in here that help us. The first thing I think of when I think of fruit is a seasonal, where is it grown, where is the origin. But when we look at fruit this way, we're looking at more of a medicine and not something as a staple that we should be eating. So I wanted to kind of make that clear, that we have lots of different types of things that may not grow in your area that could be very, very advantageous to use on a periodic basis, kind of like the medicine man would go to another medicine man in another territory and swap some things because they have knowledge.
Right. And the thing about metabolic syndrome, Nico, I've been following this guy, and I think I tagged you, and his name is Jeff Cyr, C-Y-R. He's just a nice guy who has gone through a system of healing himself, lost 150 pounds, reversed his type 2 diabetes and his diagnosis of a fatal liver disease as a result of going on a low-carb, adequate protein, as he says, high-fat, low-carb diet. And we've been talking a little bit, and, the metabolic syndrome is everywhere. And I have people come in all the time with lab work, and I say, did your doctor say anything about your sugars? Or, God forbid, they do the right tests, which are insulin, and they say, no, he said it's in the range. But they have all the other markers of the metabolic syndrome. And anything that can be part of food as medicine, food as fun medicine, to help us reverse the process of metabolic syndrome, I'm all for that. Because not only does metabolic syndrome predispose individuals to coronary artery disease, but it also increases the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NFLD. Okay, so a lot of people say NAFLD is kind of the acronym for it. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease becoming a huge epidemic. Polycystic ovary syndrome, gallstones, sleep apnea, and diabetes. These may contribute to the etiology and progression of certain cancers. Metabolic syndrome is a serious disease process in process.
Yeah, it's the distribution of the fat, the abdominal fat in particular, is implicated in this disorder. So it's where the fat is and the type of fat that it is. It's the visceral fat. It's the yellow visceral fat that becomes damaging. It's the body actually staying in a high-stress response. Yeah, it's kind of surrounding the vital organs in a way, right? It certainly is. Right. So one of the cardinal indicators of the metabolic syndrome presentation is this central adiposity, the central belly fat. It's identified by a increase in the waist to hip ratio. The waist is getting bigger, excess upper body fat, and that can accumulate viscerally, and it's really a strongly associated with insulin resistance, i.e., insulin resistance is one of those legs on the stool of metabolic syndrome. So the people who are heavy, but it's kind of distributed all over, aren't as risk as the people who have it in one certain place, especially around the belly. Well, right. That's really correct. So a pear-shaped woman is not as risk, when she's putting it in the rear and the hips, right, as a person who's putting it right here out front and right around the waist. The waist area, our waist is, there's a whole discussion on some of the waist measurements and waist ratios that can really give us an idea of how we're doing, or if we're heading in the wrong direction, And really, it's not just about the fat, but these fats secrete these inflammatory compounds. They're called inflammatory cytokines. And these things take place and they exasperate the insulin resistance. My point here, folks, is that many people are experiencing these symptoms that are all part of the metabolic syndrome picture way before they ever get a diagnosis, but the damage is still happening early on. And these are the people we wouldn't recommend going into a dry fast. First, start exploring your diet a little bit better and trying some of the easiest things before you start doing the more extreme things. So let's go on a little bit here. Insulin is a lipogenic hormone, is implicated as the major pathogenic mechanism in the deposition of fat in the liver. So, this is cruel. This is important to know that if you're getting fatty liver, the insulin function is way out of kilter. So if we're in a hyperinsulinic state, which accompanies an influx of refined carbohydrates. Most of the time, that's the culprit right there. Insulin inhibits the fatty acid oxidation and instead promotes the use of glycose as a substrate. Since it's readily available. So you start using glucose instead of processing your fat. This insulin resistance is the primary concern, pathophysiological denominator, that connecting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and cardiovascular disease. It's really a stepping stone. So if your liver ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Yeah, that's for sure. So not only that, when a person accumulates fatty acids in the liver, as in with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, they are packed with triglycerides. So you're going to see a rise in the triglycerides, and these are going to be distributed in the bloodstream, and maybe also accompanied by low, low-density lipoproteins, etc. This article goes into great detail about a lot of this, but because those are predictors of some kind of problems in your body. Yes, there's it's not that the LDL cholesterol is bad; it's if the LDL cholesterol is small. And the beef I have
is that doctors are not giving the proper tests.
No,
for example, if you get
both together,
they're giving someone a total cholesterol, but that tells you nothing.
Right.
They give you your TSH.
The big fluffy ones are the friendly ones that patch everything for you.
Right, and you want plenty of those going around.
Definitely too.
So all of these changes really impact, but we're taking a little bit of time, but we're going to get into pomegranate, an antioxidant powerhouse, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we can do with this pomegranate, because we've already identified it's a problem, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome. We're going to find a food that helps us get straight.
So stick around, folks.
Be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of The Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. We're talking about pomegranates. And although some low-carbohydrate camps discourage fruit consumption when it comes to metabolic disarrangements, this is one way that you can actually treat it like medicine instead of like food.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Studies elucidate that fruit intake is inversely related to risk of cardiovascular disease. That's interesting. So, although there's a lot of correlations in nature, the study supports the notion that fruit delays onset of cardiovascular disease and mitigates its severity. So I think that's kind of the balance of the sugar plus the antioxidants.
Yeah, it's kind of like the real good honey.
But again, you don't want to eat tons of fruit untargeted because you're going to get into an insulin problem if other things aren't right.
We're not talking about that, of course, because when we're talking about medicine, you don't talk about tons of anything. You're talking about small amounts.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a review. Ample evidence was presented supporting the inclusion of fruits with cardioprotective effects, such as the hawthorn berry,
blueberry, apple,
grape, avocado, and pomegranate.
By the way, avocados are going to go sky high because of the droughts. So beware, all these fruits, they're going to get costly, folks.
Well, so it looks like all food is going to get costly.
Well, it already has. I mean, we went to the grocery store. We went to 2 health food stores, spent over $500. We're looking, we had 5 bags of groceries.
No, it's crazy.
And, you know, I know that 3 years ago we were paying like $2.50 for it. So the prices really have doubled, and nowhere does it show up in the index.
Oh, they don't tell you that. No, food's never. And that is our biggest expense. It's absolutely crazy.
And if you listen to 2030, Adapt 2030, we're talking about prices all over the world, rising in fruits, vegetables, wheat production is down. Everything is down because of the different climate change.
That's exactly right. Climate change, which we specify what we think is going on. So especially noteworthy in the fruit kingdom is the Punica granatum, or the pomegranate. It's a medicinal botanical with pleiotropic effects. Historically, pomegranate has been infused into ritual and ceremonial rites in a variety of religious traditions, including Greek mythology, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. And early Christianity has been used medicinally in Ayurvedic medicine, as we mentioned earlier.
And we really haven't changed the fruit either. That's the nice thing about the pomegranate. It's still that wild thing that's still out there. And it defends against the oxidative stress by activating endogenous
antioxidant defense systems, meaning outside defense systems,
right.
And it elevates the level of glutathione in our bodies. But one of the things I wanted to say up here is it's a rich source of compounds, phenolics and triproteins, which really help to protect the body, you know, and provide resilience against disease. And the incorporation of any polyphenolic-rich foods, such as the pomegranate, is essential in metabolic syndrome. That's why the dark-colored berries, anything with a red or blue tint, are very good, because the oxidative stress is what really initiates the pathogenic part of arteriosclerosis, so instigating the inflammation and lipid peroxidation that actually is at the root of the true cardiovascular disease.
Yeah. So you can take like a juice, maybe a cup of this a day for about 2 weeks, and you can really see some changes
Less
in your
than
body.
2 ounces a day of concentrated pomegranate. So again, using that small amount.
Concentrated,
you know, that small amount, so you're not getting over. Truth is, I think it's great if you get the pomegranates when they're in season. And it's a little bit of a thing, but there's a great YouTube video that shows you how to eat a pomegranate, you know, get the seeds out of it. But remember, my Qigong teacher taught me that there's magic in the white stuff. So if you look at that picture of the pomegranate, see how there's white stuff? That's where a lot of really powerful phytochemicals that we don't even know the names of, you know, where those phytochemicals hang out. So juicing a fresh pomegranate is great, but all it takes is 2 ounces a day of the pomegranate juice to administer to non-insulin dependent diabetics led to a 75% increase in some of these compounds that show metabolic syndrome is reversing.
So, folks, do your own research. It'll be in the next Health Signals newsletter, so you can actually do that. And there'll be some great links in here that so you can go down a little bit deeper if you need to.
That's right.
Thanks a lot for sticking
Stay
around.
healthy, and we'll see you next show.
Bye-bye.
Basil Chapman will be giving a 2-series webinar Wednesday, August 2nd and Wednesday, August 16th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Can sector rotation buoy the market into 2018? Each time the market feels it's ready to have a sharp decline, formerly weak sectors rally to hold the market up. This 2-webinar series will be free for Basil's opening call subscribers, and non-subscribers will also receive his daily newsletter for 1 month free as a trial subscription. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to Basil's daily newsletter, The Opening Call, and gain access to his subscriber-only webinar on August 2nd and Wednesday, August 16th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Can sector rotation buoy the market into 2018?
Hi everyone, this is Basil Chapman, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at my webinar series.
To sign up for a 30-day free trial to Basil's daily newsletter and gain access to Basil's webinar, visit the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.